welcome to all, and so happy that you're here. I'm Brian Jones, and everyone here is here because they've been probably read something I wrote on Quora. So everyone here is from Quora, which is really great. This is just such a it's been such a and is and will continue to be such a beautiful community that we have and we share together, and I really appreciate that. And there's a few people that came from other ways other than Quora, some seminars and things. So I welcome you. I'm so happy you're here. You don't have to be from Quora to be here. And, before I go on, I just want to invite you all to feel free to invite your friends or family or whoever that you feel may be interested in these sessions. Please feel free to invite them to attend. Everybody's welcome here. So, all right. So today I'm going to recap a little bit about the past few weeks that we've had. This is the 6 weeks to transformation, it's called, and this is week 4. And I want to talk today just about all the different pieces, parts of this practice, and why there's even pieces, parts. That's one very good question. And then, how do we begin to integrate these things and create a positive routine for ourselves? What are the things we can do to simplify that? And, are there any tips, tricks, and things like that as part of the practice that would help you? So I think that's what I want to do today. Again, this is not a written out, pre-rehearsed PowerPoint. This is just me speaking from the heart right now. So the very first thing we talked about in the first session was talked about meditation. And this meditation is called Heartfulness. Now, surprisingly, this name Heartfulness is relatively new to this practice. The name Heartfulness was given by Daji, and I think it was 2016, if I'm not mistaken, where he announced that this would be the name going forward. And the reason was, there were probably a lot of reasons, but one of the reasons was that the name of this method before Heartfulness is called Sahaj Marg. Sahaj Marg. And Sahaj Marg means natural path. And so in the West, outside of India, this word Sahaj Marg, not only was difficult to read, difficult to pronounce, you didn't understand what it meant. So Daji felt like, Heartfulness would be more universal in its scope. So that was a really great thing. So that's why it's called Heartfulness. And even before it was called Sahaj Marg, there was also another name to this system, Santmat, which was given in Lalaji's time. So there's been a few different names, but, as the saying goes, a rose by any other name is still a rose. So no matter what this method is called, and it may, who knows, have other names in the future, the essence of it is the same. And that brings me to the next point that I want to emphasize. In this method, it was discovered by a spiritual master, a guide. We can refer to him however we want to think about him, but his name is Lalaji. He lived from 1873 to 1931. And he rediscovered this method that we utilize, which is called pranahuti, or transmission. In the past few years, it's become more known as yogic transmission. So that's something that's unique to this method of Heartfulness, as well as something called the cleaning process is unique to this method. It's a way by which we can clean off all of the past influences that tend to shape our life. They shape who we are in the present. We're entirely shaped by our past experiences and by our past likes and dislikes. That's a big one, because those things that we dislike, we don't want to experience those things. So we have severe reactions, which makes those impressions deeper and deeper and deeper. And those things that we like and that we wish for and that we desire, those things also we repeat in our mental space over and over, thus giving them power and making them stronger. So these are the things that fall under the name samskara, which is a deep-rooted impression. A deep-rooted impression. We can also call it a tendency. I've been liking the word influence. I say these are the influences of our past. So that's an easy way of thinking about it. So on this journey, it's very important that we find a way to loosen up and remove all of these influences from our past. Because when we receive the transmission causes growth, it causes evolution. But the transmission is an unbiased force. So it causes growth of anything. So it's important that, we don't want to give strength to any negative tendencies. So this is why Babaji is very insistent about this cleaning process, so that we remove the samskaras and the tendencies and the influences of our past, so that the transmission can strengthen and do its work of naturally strengthening and bringing to the original state our consciousness, basically. We're returning our consciousness to its original, pure, unadulterated state. That's what we're doing. And that's when, you start to feel lighter and lighter, hopefully lighter, and we start to eventually let go of all of these opinions and judgments and things that we carry around with us. Eventually, even our things that we like and desire, that starts to subside, which is very important. and ultimately, you find that you become content. You become content being who you are, because we're happy being as we are. Because the thing that what we call the spiritual journey, is just one of self-perception. It's all about, now we perceive ourselves as something, as a person, as Brian. I perceive myself as Brian. I perceive myself in a certain way. So in what we call the spiritual journey, we're undoing all of these things that define or limit who we are. And in the process of this, we uncover who we really are, which, as I always say, and you know this, we are the great luminous beings of light in this universe. We are not merely this body and these thoughts. We are something much, much more. So let's start off with meditation. So the meditation we do in the morning is just called morning meditation. And all of these you can find on my website under the drop-down called practices. So this morning meditation, ideally Babaji said we should rise before dawn. Rise before dawn. He said that's the ideal time for your best meditation, because at the point of dawn, it's like this moment that's between darkness and daylight. He calls it the grayness of the morning. He said that is the ideal time when the earth and all the thoughts of the world are at their coolest or at their most subtle point. So this is the most ideal time for meditation. Initially, Babaji recommended everyone to meditate for an hour in the morning before dawn. Okay, now, as time has moved on, we human beings keep becoming more and more busy. And we have work to do, we have schedules to keep, we have all kinds of things on our plate, we have a lot more distractions. So I'm finding with Daji as the spiritual guide, he's become not less firm in the need to do all the aspects of the practice, but he's become a little bit more lenient, saying that, the best meditation is the one that we do. So if we can start off in the morning by setting aside 5 minutes for meditation, that's a big step in the right direction. If that's as much as we can do, then that's as much as we can expect ourselves to do. Because what we don't want to get into with any practice, we never want to impose something on ourselves that we can't live up to. Because if we can't live up to it, then we feel bad, right? We feel guilty on, gee, I missed going to the gym this morning. I was doing so good, right? I missed my yoga class. I was doing so good. So we don't want to get into that with our meditation practice, but we want to introduce it slowly. And it's important because I always say that faith, really having faith comes from having a series of small successes. Okay? Faith isn't about just believing something. Okay? Faith is about accomplishing something. And so faith develops when we can have a series of small successes. And that's the way we build our meditation practice. So if we can start with 5 minutes a day, you're going to see that automatically what will happen is you'll get into a place inside where you're enjoying it so much that you'll look at your clock, you'll look at your phone, you say, oh, wow, 15 minutes have elapsed. You see? And now we're doing the non-practice practice. We're just enjoying the meditation, right? And naturally we want to stay in it longer. So now we don't have to struggle with building a routine and all of that. This is based on, this is a method that's so based on rewarding yourself with something that feels so wonderful and so right that we want to enjoy it more and more. That's really the way to approach this path. And it's not a path that you'll be successful at with extreme discipline. Some people will be. Some people are like that. But I think it's better to enjoy it. And then you say, oh, wow, yeah, I meditated for 15 minutes. That was so great. And then, a week later, you notice, today I meditated for 30 minutes. Wow, that's amazing. And then we feel like, we've accomplished something. And it was simple and easy to do. So this is the way I would like you to approach your practice. Now, having said that, I also don't want to imply that, we shouldn't ever want to sit for a longer period of time if we can, okay? Because once we get in that mindset, then we're becoming even more developing self-discipline, which is also really important, because nobody has ever learned to be a great classical pianist or classical guitar player by sitting in their easy chair and watching YouTubes on how to play guitar or how to play piano. It's never happened. So it's all about, if that's our objective, then we need to, also apply some effort to that so that we can, become the best at it that we can become. So morning meditation, morning meditation is the same meditation that we do when we sit with the group. So it's called morning meditation, but you can do it anytime. And do you need to rise before dawn? If you can, if that's your time, great. But I know all the young people that I know, nobody's rising before dawn. They kind of wish Babaji said, rise before noon. So for young people, this does not work. And so, whenever you get up, based on your schedule, you start your day off with this meditation, and go to the restroom, you brush your teeth, do whatever you need to do, and get ready. Take a shower if you need to. If you need to have a cup of coffee, have a cup of coffee if you need that, and then sit down and meditate, because that sets the tone for the day. So the meditation is very simple. As you all know, we've been doing it. We just sit comfortably. We relax our body. And then we just let our focus drop down out of our head where all of our thoughts are. We just let that just settle down and rest on the area of the heart. And this word rest is incredibly important. That's why I say it a lot. Rest on the heart. Because we rest in the same way that we rest our head on the pillow at night, and we just can't wait to let go and disappear. It feels so good. That's how we should meditate, resting on the heart. And then we have the thought that there's the source of our life, the source of love, the source of our light, the source of wisdom, the source of all the attributes and qualities that we admire. That source is within the heart. We also refer to that source as our conscience, higher self, the divine within. So we meditate on the heart. And it's fine if we just think of it, I'm meditating on the heart. Because the heart means love, it means compassion, it means intuition, it means so many good qualities. I meditate on the heart. It's wonderful. So we rest on the heart with the idea that the source is within us and the source is drawing us inward. Sometimes I like to say that the source is, inviting us homeward. Sometimes you hear me say that. Isn't it so sweet? That the source, yes, this source, we're meant to be integrated. We're meant to be completely whole. We're meant to be the meaning of the word yoga, which means union, to unite, completely united within ourselves, body, mind, spirit, heart, everything. So those are all the reasons why that the meditation in the morning is so beautiful and so important for us to integrate. Now, after we meditate in the morning, what happens? We start our day. And some of us are going to school, some of us are going to work, some of us are just staying home and maybe working from home, or just raising our children or families, grandchildren, any number of scenarios. And so we go through our day now after meditating, in a pleasant disposition, and we go through our day, and inevitably we'll have different things happen throughout the day, and sometimes the day can get out of hand. Sometimes it becomes stressful. Sometimes we experience things in the workplace or at school, or we say, I've got a lot on my plate today. We often say that. And so by the end of the day, we've accumulated a lot of different impressions from our day. Well, Babaji says we have the willpower ourselves. We have enough of willpower to remove the day's impressions on our own. And therefore, we do this second process, which is different from meditation. It's called the evening cleaning. All right. Now, the best time to do this cleaning is at the end of our work day. If we can do it before dinner, great. If you can do it after dinner, fine. But it's not something we should do late in the evening or late at night. The reason is that you need to be alert to doing the cleaning, because the cleaning is a very active process and we are actively participating in it. So, how do we do this cleaning? Again, you sit comfortably, in your chair, and you close your eyes and you relax. But now you have a very determined thought, and you can even have this determined thought, before even sitting down. This determined thought is just, we think at one time, all the day's impressions, whatever they are, or we could say all the influences of the day, they're now leaving me. They're now leaving me. How are they leaving me? Well, they're going out our back, from the top of the head to the tailbone, in the form of smoke or vapor. That's the visualization. So we either can visualize or feel that from the top of our head to our tailbone, this smoke and vapor is just going out our whole back, just leaving us. And that's what we focus on during this cleaning process. So we don't mull over, I got mad at so-and-so today, I better get rid of that. Because we don't want to distinguish between good and bad impressions. We just want to say all the impressions from today that have taken place, now they're going to go away and they're going to leave me. So we keep a determined thought to do that. And it's best to do the cleaning if you can for 10, 15 minutes. Okay. If you can only do 5 minutes, that's more than no minutes. So please take that up. But try and integrate this practice daily, because this is one that's, I would say, even more important than the meditation. We really need to start the process of getting rid of the samskaras and influences. And though we have the ability to get rid of the day's impressions ourselves, by doing so, we get ourselves into a position where eventually we stop accumulating impressions. We go through our day and nothing will stick to us. Okay, that's one of the benefits of this cleaning process. Now, then we want to think, and often people ask the question, what about these deeper samskaras, these deep-rooted impressions? Sometimes we're carrying things for lifetimes. Those get cleaned by the trainer or by the spiritual guide directly. And that happens when we sit together as a group. And it also happens if you're having an individual meditation with a trainer. Those are the times when this deeper cleaning is happening. Sometimes Daji gives sittings live on YouTube. I can assure you that a big cleaning is going on when he's giving those sittings. So, that's about the cleaning process. Now, I want to add one more thing, and I think I went over this last week, I'm not sure. But in all the people that I come across in Heartfulness, I find about 95% are not approaching the cleaning in the right way. People are approaching the cleaning with the thought, I've accumulated all this stuff today. I feel, heaviness, all this happened to me. I got to get rid of all this stuff. So the premise is that I'm filled with grossness and, all this gunk is inside me. I have to get rid of that. So we're making a negative suggestion with the beginning of our cleaning that may not be true. Okay, and when we make a suggestion like that, we can be strengthening those little bit of stuff that we've accumulated. We could be strengthening it. We could be adding to it by having that kind of an attitude. So the correct attitude, and the one which helps the cleaning immensely, is even before sitting down, we should be enthusiastic. We should say, I can't wait to uncover the divine in my heart, or I can't wait to, uncover again that lightness in my heart, where it's like a refresher, And you'll find when you sit down with that attitude that this cleaning process goes so fast, And there will be days when you'll sit down and you'll try to do your cleaning. It's like, I don't really feel like there's anything to be cleaned. That is correct. That is the correct observation. Yes, that's right. So just sit for 2-3 minutes and just do a real light version and be done with it. It's okay. Now you're becoming sensitive to your own inner condition, which is the next thing that I want to talk about. So in this process of becoming lighter and subtler, our returning to our pure state of consciousness, okay, we develop the ability to become more sensitive to our own condition. And we can read our condition. This is what we call it, reading our own condition. All right. Now, one thing that helps us to learn to read our condition is by keeping a journal or diary and writing in it after your meditations. You write how you felt during the sitting. I felt some pain here today in my chest, around these points 3 and 4. Or today I felt so blissful, felt light and happy. Or today in my meditation I felt like laughing. Or today, for the past 2 days in my meditation, I felt, weepy. I felt like weeping all the time. Okay, this is observing your condition. And by doing so, and just writing it in your diary and forgetting about it, okay, this is how we develop the sensitivity to understand our spiritual condition to cooperate with this unfolding that's going on within ourselves, and to start to be able to perceive our real lighter self that's emerging, because we get in patterns of perceiving ourselves in a certain way. So we need to get out of those patterns, and we need to just, learn to, know when we're in a subtler state, okay, and appreciate that, and perceive, allow yourself perceive from that subtle state, perceive from that feeling of lightness. And this is all part of our self journey that we're doing. Okay, now we're going to meditate in a couple minutes, but let me cover one last thing. There's an objective to our meditation. Well, the big objective is to become the complete expression of the great divine that we are. Okay, and some people call that enlightenment, some people call it God realization. We've given so many names. It's okay. So that's the big objective. And it's good to have that goal. It's good to have that goal. But there's a very, very important goal that's a practical one. That's a direct result of doing the practice with consistency. And that is, we reach what we call a state of constant remembrance. This only means that 24/7, all the time, you are clearly abiding in this inner presence, inner feeling of connection, inner presence. We're abiding in the meditative state. We're abiding in that feeling of that we receive from the transmission. And we're abiding in this 24/7 all the time. That's called constant remembrance. Now, there's other words for it in other practices. You'll see the name Turiya Tit, state of Turiya. There's another name that's escaping me. The fourth state. Okay, these are other words. Same thing. And it means that we have now enlivened within ourselves our original true condition. And it's come to the fore. We've become that. We've become one with, the self that we really are. There's no more duality in our thinking. And we're now resting and feeling this ubiquitous force presence within all around us 24/7. Even during sleep, it's with you. And it never goes away. You never leave it. Okay, this is the objective as a result of the meditation. All right, everyone. So that's a bit of a recap, and just to hopefully re-enthuse you in this process and why we do it and why it's so important for our own self-evolution. It's something beautiful. It's something wondrous. It's something that feels so great. Okay, it's not something that's difficult to do. So, yeah. So this is all very, very doable. And before we're going to meditate now, but before I meditate, I just want to add, and in the very early days of these sessions, I said this a lot. What I said was that at the very least, all of us can make time at least once a week here on Saturday to come together and experience this amazing experience that we have, a deep sense of unity, the deep effects of this transmission, and to benefit that. We can at the very least all come and enjoy this together, and that helps strengthen us individually as well. It goes a long way to strengthen us. And, we're all active participants in bringing about a transformation of our outer environment, of the world, even in the spaces just around us. And when we all strengthen each other through this process, we become influencers, silent influencers out there in this world. And, this work continues to flow over in its own quiet and silent ways, even without our knowing, and helps be a profound impact for the betterment of our planet. So it's a big thing that we're doing, and we should be proud of that. So, and with that, let's meditate together. So I invite you to please sit comfortably. You're welcome to attend any and all of these sessions. And for those of you who would like to stay around, and if you have any questions or comments, we'll take a 5-minute break off camera. We'll just mute yourself and mute your video and grab a cup of coffee or tea, and then I'll meet you back here in 5 minutes. And for those of you who do have to go, thank you so much. All the best.